Thank you very much. Good evening and welcome to the show. This is the second show. And I don't know why, but we didn't get any complaints about the first show. We're either getting cleaner or nobody's watching the show. An American in Dublin goes up to a little drunk and he says, "Excuse me, sir, but why do you have those yellow lines down the side of the pavement?"
And he says, "They're to signify there is no parking at all."
And he said, "The double yellow lines?"
He said, "It signifies there's no..."
And he's trying to put the bits of plaster on his bum. And he can't see, so he has a look in the mirror. And he's going... Puts them all on, goes to bed. In the morning, the wife comes in and she says, "You were drunk last night?" He said, "Oh, was not." She said, "What's all that sticking plaster on the mirror?"
You heroes are, you don't like to talk about it, do you?
He said, "No." He said, "I'm not really brave." He says, "Well, all right then. Tell us, how did you get that first medal?" He said, "Well, I got that one by a mistake. Complete mistake. I mean, they thought I was somebody else and they gave me the medal." He says, "All right, I'll go with that one. But how did you get all the others?" He said, "Well, I got all the others because I got that one." Give the Irish fellow who's the father of 18 children, Catholic. Because we don't have any of that pills and all that rubbish. We are allowed to have sex, but we are not allowed to enjoy it.
Oh, very good.
Anyhow, this fellow's got 18 children. And he says to his wife, he said, "If you have another child," he said, "I'm going to hang myself." "I will." And a year later, she has another one. And he said, "I'll hang myself." He said, "No, I won't. I'll give myself a reprieve." "But if it happens again, I'll hang myself." And a year later, she has another child. And he says, "Peter Wood." So he said, "Oh, I got brick. I got big brick." He gets a big brick. Holds it up in front of the dog and says, "Karate expert. Karate expert. Ha!"
Out. Okay. You can do your shirt up now.
Sure.
Do you smoke?
No, thanks. I just had one.
6,000, no, 7,000. 7,000 pounds. 7. Now, let's start again, shall we?
Can I help you? Coffee, cheers.
All right, nobody move. This is a hijack. Cavemen. And those fools laughed at my machine. I'm afraid of a horn there.
I'm afraid you can't talk it. Well, if that old man with that box can go back in history, why can't we? Well, we can, and we will.
Look what I've invented.
What is it?
I'll call it the donut.
Tell me, sire, a thing that I have always been curious about. Why do they call you the Black Prince?
I've no idea, man.
3 to the south. You ready, lads? Right over. What shall we do with it?
That's it. That's it.
Every single man jack of you made a solemn promise not to watch as the fair Lady Godiva rides down the main street of our city.
But, Squire, she'd be naked.
Was found in his bed, dead, with terrible marks upon his neck and his eyes wide open. And the doctor said that the marks had nothing to do with his death, but that the man had died of fright. And I scoffed, foolishly. And it came about with a few more drinks and everything else that I accepted a dare or a bet that I would stay the night in the cottage beside the graveyard. And I went there, and we agreed that the door would be locked, and I would stay in there till first light. And I was locked in. And I don't know really what happens, but I think a great deal of fear is in one's mind. It was dank, it was cold. The effects of the booze began to wear off. And I began to think, what the name of God are you doing? And I felt, I don't know what it was an instinct, it was something stronger than me, pulled me towards this bed where this man had died. And I went to sleep, a limbo sleep. And I woke. What time? I have no idea. The candle had burned down. It was black. It was cold. And I felt a presence. I was completely sober by then and utterly terrified. The hackles on the back of my neck had begun to rise. I was paralyzed by a presence of fear, and I felt something on my chest begin to move. It crept slowly up my chest, and I couldn't move. It came.
Give me a whiskey.
Man, I've given you the best years of my life. You've got no drive, no ambition. That's your trouble.
Right, this is a hold-up. Get back.
Anybody moves, she gets it. Every comedian has his own sense of humor. He likes to tell gags in that vein. My sense of humor is comprised around 5 subjects: life, death, drinking, religion, and English. So if anybody knows a gag about an English priest who lived and died, would you kindly tell me about it, please? Strange gags that kind of tickle one's fancy. This story...
You don't answer. You will tell us eventually. What unit do you belong to? Why did you come to Germany? What did you get in here? How? Why and what? I will continue to ask you. Why? How and what? And kindly stop hitting me when I'm asking you.
I'm not doing gags like that anymore. You get a fellow who all his life has been left with 2 choices. Everything he's wanted to do, he's been given a choice in. He had a choice of going to 2 universities, Cambridge or Oxford. And he picked the wrong one and went to Oxford. He had a choice of taking 2 degrees, and he chose the wrong one. He had a choice of 2 girls, and he chose the nag. He had a choice of 2 jobs. He picked the one without the possibilities of 20,000 feet up. The captain comes through and he said, "I'm terribly sorry, we've just lost engines 2, 3, and 4, and 1 will go in the next 7 minutes." The fellow drops on his knees and says, "St. Francis, help me!" And a voice from heaven says, "St. Francis of Assisi or St. Francis of Xavier?"
What, soldier? What happened, soldier?
It was a massacre, sir. The men didn't stand a chance. The Sioux Indians wiped out the whole platoon. They captured me, but they didn't kill me.
Why not?
Red Arrow sent me back with a message, sir. 8 days. 8 days of riding without drinking.
Sure, get on with it, Kincaid. Get on.
The heat and the dust.
Yeah, but what was Red Arrow's message, soldier? Uh-huh. And what does that mean?
I don't know, sir.
I cannot take any more, do you hear? If you do not stop, I'll hang myself!
Hang and be damned, I faggot! Will not stop until I have found the right tempo!
Okay, man, the stage will be along pretty soon, so get outside and take up your positions.
Just a moment, Blackjack. Who says you give orders? Who says you're the leader of this outfit?
You reckon you could do a better job of it?
I sure do.
I stand with Blackjack. I stand with Blackjack.
I stand with Blackjack.
Goodbye, Sir Lionel.
The jet?
Just like a woman. There is a basic difference between men and women. If you don't know what it is by now, there's no sense of me telling you. But I actually do think, God bless the women. Where would we be without you? Free! And one of the complaints continually leveled by you live 5 years longer than us. You're surprised with all that humping and carrying. The basic difference between men and women is not physical, it's in here. It's the logic. The logic of women is bizarre. A couple of years ago, my wife bought me 2 ties for Christmas. We'll get a young lady who's getting married and goes to her mother for guidance or counsel. Says, Mummy, I'm terribly embarrassed about getting undressed in front of Charles on our first wedding. And she said, well, don't worry about it, darling, because men understand these things. Your daddy did, and I believe your granddaddy did. When they arrive in the honeymoon suite, they will look at you and they will say, oh, I appear to be, I have to go downstairs and get some cigarettes. And while they're away, then you... and prepare yourself. Into the bed, all the pillows popped up, sitting there. And he comes back in and he says, what are you doing there? We haven't had lunch yet. And even with making love, there's got to be intrigue.